absolutely everybody working in construction will be affected, especially if you pay other people for work which you bill on, or you are paid by other contractors. So I can't think of a firm in construction who won't be affected. It starts on the 1st of October, and it means that if you work for another trader in construction, they will not pay you VAT. So for all the subcontractors that your members pay, if they're VAT registered and they are sending invoices in, they will be applying on a reverse charge basis. So after the 1st of October, you as a main contractor will not be paying VAT. So that may cause some problems. And if you as a contractor work for another contractor, you will not be paid VAT. It throws the cash flow. Everybody that works in an accounts office will be sitting with the flow chart that I think will come up on screen. The flow chart tells them to check whether when they are applying for payment, they are applying to somebody who is VAT registered. They're going to check whether the customer is VAT registered. A domestic customer wouldn't be VAT registered. Then they are going to check whether the customer is CIS registered. A commercial business like a tobacconist would be VAT registered but not CIS registered. Only at that point would they think, is this person an end consumer? An end consumer is somebody who sells a building, rents a building, or is going to use the building themselves. A sort of old-fashioned understanding of customer. If they are going to use it, rent it, sell it, then you would charge them VAT. They would give you an end user certificate and you would charge VAT. Otherwise, the default position is reverse charge. Building materials are different. When you buy building materials from a merchant, from a dealer, so there is no element of supply and fix, it's just materials you're buying, that will always carry VAT. If you engage a subcontractor and he supplies you with materials and a fix, that whole invoice is reverse charged. You don't apportion. But the invoices that come from the dealers will be wholly VATable. That may mean, because I think your members lie in the band where they pay subcontractors and pay-as-you-earn workers, and they work for major contractors. What will happen to them is they're buying a lot of materials and paying VAT on it. If they're working for main contractors, they will not be paid VAT. They will end up banking with the Inland Revenue, some of them, and then they must think about whether they become what I call a monthly repayment trader, who puts in a monthly VAT return and gets a repayment monthly from the revenue. All house builders in Britain do that. It's not unusual, but it's unusual in construction other than house builders, and your members have got to think, is that them? You need to look at the government's website. You need to know, because I know there's a screen coming up, the number of the Inland Revenue for the Payment Support Service. I just want to make the point, if you cannot pay your VAT at any point, you must phone in advance of the due date. That's why that telephone number is there. The Revenue can do all sorts of things about interest and penalty if you phone before the due date. They can do nothing after the due date. So know what that number is. On the National Federation of Roofers websites, there is guidance and a draft letter to your subcontractors. I think my guidance is better than the Revenue's guidance. Read both and mark them. But in this period, you've got to learn this. It's a big change, and that's a dangerous tax to monkey about with. So you learn.